Hello, students and teachers. We have a really special lesson today, and we have two very special guests here with us that I will introduce in just a second. You have found yourself here in the co-taught lesson where we are going to talk about artificial intelligence and how we can use that AI inside Scratch. When I first heard about this, I thought, what? That makes no sense. But these people down here are going to make it all make sense within this hour. Before we get started, if you've been to any one of our lessons, you know we start things by recognizing the Indigenous peoples that came before us. So on the screen is a beautiful map and a link to native-land.ca, and that's going to tell you all about the rich cultures and nations that surround us. I'm in Calgary. It's Treaty 7 territory. The Blackfoot are here, the Piikani, the Kainai, Tsuut'ina, Stoney Nakoda, the Métis. So many incredible rich cultures and Indigenous peoples came here before me, and I'm just so thankful to be able to be on this land. It's going to be interesting when we talk to these two people below me, because I don't think their Indigenous peoples are shown on that map that I just showed you. And you'll find out why in just a second. So, who am I? I'm Michelle Armstrong. I'm with the Cobblestone Collective. We work with Google, we work with Microsoft, and now we get to work with coding and more. Our friends from India. So we have Supriya here and Ridhima are here. Let's start with you, Supriya. Can you tell us just a little bit about you?
Thank you so much, Michelle, for having me here today. I'm Supriya. I'm from Coding and More. I'm an AI educator and the founder of Coding and More. And we are super excited to take you to the world of AI. And today we have with us Ms. Ridhima, who's also an educator. Over to you, Ridhima.
Hello everyone, I'm so excited to be here. My name is Ridhima. As you can see, I'm an educator and a teacher at Coding and More. I'm actually a lawyer by training, but I love AI and I love teaching AI. So here I am, excited to share a little bit of what I know with you.
So amazing. I cannot wait to learn from you both. Students, before we get rolling, we have a couple of little housekeeping items. We are coming to you live via YouTube, which is fabulous. Teachers, if this goes too fast, you can pause at any point, you can rewind, and the recording will be here. And I'll bet you, once you see this lesson, you're going to want to share this with your other teacher friends and student friends, because we're going to be doing some pretty cool stuff. Students, you'll notice we don't have that YouTube chat turned on, but you can communicate with us right now in that device you have in front of you. Go to a new tab, type in the cc.page/answers. Let us know what's your first name, and maybe let us know where you're joining us from. I wonder if we have anyone joining from India today. Well, Supriya and Ridhima, I'm going to keep an eye on this Google form. This is how the students can communicate with us. But while we're waiting for answers to come in, I'll let you guys take it away. Oh, and Ridhima is muted.
All right. So today's plan, as you can see in front of us, the first thing that we're going to start off with is a quick brainstorming session on what AI or artificial intelligence is. Then you're going to have a chance to actually do an AI project of your own. So you're going to have a chance to create your own little mini AI project. And then we're also going to go on to a special version of Scratch that supports AI, where you're going to get to code your AI model. So without further ado, let's get started. What is artificial intelligence? So can I ask you, what is the first word that comes to your mind when you hear AI or artificial intelligence? The first image or the first word that pops into your mind, go ahead and type it into the CC page.
Excellent. And we so far don't have any responses into our form, but that means a lot of you probably are watching this recording right now. So instead of putting it in the form, teachers, have a conversation with your students. What is that first word that comes to your mind when you hear AI? I'm going to answer maybe on behalf of the students. I kind of, first of all, thought scary, to be quite honest. And then I think, well, robots. Am I close?
Yes and no. So
Oh,
what I'm going to tell you is going to probably help clarify why I say maybe when you say robots. So, artificial intelligence, lots of people have lots of ideas about it. But the one thing that we can agree on when it comes to is AI is something that can think and make decisions for itself. So, when computers or when machines can mimic human intelligence, when computers and machines can think and make decisions for themselves, that is when you're seeing or using AI.
aha. Now it makes sense. Okay.
All right, so I have two pictures on my screen, self-driving car and remote control drone. Which one, Michelle, do you think uses AI? Is it one of them? Is it both of them? Or is it none of them?
I've got to guess for sure the self-driving car. Oh, and we
Mhm.
have Sandy who is watching us. Sandy also thinks it's the car. And I'm going to say maybe the drone isn't because we're actually controlling the drone.
Absolutely, Michelle. I can see you're a great student already. So, the self driving car is definitely using AI because it's the car that's making the decision about when it should start, when it should stop, when it should pause, turn around, take a right or a left. It's the car that's the thinking and decision making being. But in the remote control drone, it's the human being holding that remote in their hand that's deciding whether they want the drone to fly left or right, and it's the human being controlling the remote. So the human being is making the decision. So you're absolutely right, Michelle.
Haha, love it.
All right. So thank you for sharing. So I'm not going to hold on to you any longer, and I think we're just going to get started with our AI project for today.
Okay.
So I told you that AI is something that can think and make decisions for itself. But how does it really learn to do that? Have you ever thought about it? I would say just like you have teachers in school, AI also needs teachers. And human beings happen to be the teachers for artificial intelligence. So today we are going to teach our AI to recognize any two objects. So this is the point where you can grab two of your favorite objects or any two objects that you see around you that you want to teach your AI to recognize today. And that's exactly what we're going to teach it. So once you have your objects ready, you can go to Teachable Machine by Google. It is a website. You will see the link to it on the screen right now. And once you're on the screen, you will be able to see a screen that looks like this. Michelle, if you could please share my Teachable Machine screen.
Excellent. I do see you have, oh, there's your teachable machine. Now, students, I want to, maybe you know what, I want to just pop back here just to make sure that you guys all have those links. And like I mentioned, it sounds to me like a lot of you are watching the recording, which is fabulous because this is a perfect time to pause. So teachers, you'll see two links on the screen. Students, you see those links too. That second link, the cc.page/training, that takes you into Google's Teachable Machine, where we are going to teach our AI what our objects are. I decided to grab a laptop case and an envelope. Are those objects going to work, Ridhima?
Absolutely, absolutely. And just to share with you the two that I have for today, I love gardening. So I have picked out two flowers from my home garden. And I have a hibiscus and a little marigold here. So that's what I'm going to teach my AI to recognize.
Oh, wow. And
Can I?
Supriya.
Yes. You know what? I decided that since we spoke about a self-driving car, I have got three objects. I've got a green circle, which is going to tell my car to go. I've got a orange circle, which is going to tell my car to pause or slow down. And I have a red circle, which is going to make my car stop. What do you think?
Okay, I love that. So if I'm getting my head around this, we're going to teach our AI whatever we want.
Yes.
And then we're going to be using Scratch to write a program with that learning.
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely. You got it right.
Okay, so fun. All right, teachers, students, hopefully you have those links loaded. Hopefully you have gotten yourself to Teachable Machine, which is where Ridhima is right now. It looks just like this. I'm going to load that up on my other screen. I'm going to follow along. So Ridhima, take us through this. What are we doing?
All right. So Teachable Machine is a platform where you can actually train your AI with examples of your two objects. So you see class 1 and you see class 2. Class 1 and class 2 are basically going to be the names of the two objects that you decide to teach your AI today. Because before we start giving it examples, we want to tell the computer what we're teaching it. So since I have two flowers, I'm going to go down and put the names of the flowers in my two classes. So class 1, I'm just going to replace that and type in hibiscus. And in class 2, I'm going to go ahead, type in marigold, because those are the names of the two objects that I want to teach my computer today. Once you have managed to put down the names of your two classes, now is the time where we start giving examples to the computer to learn from. So in order to start giving examples, you see this little webcam icon. So you click on the webcam under the first class, so whatever your first object is, click on the Add Image Samples webcam icon. So I'm going to go ahead and click on webcam right now. As soon as I do that, I'm going to be able to see myself in the screen. If you don't see yourself in the screen, you probably have a little pop-up on your screen that asks you to allow camera permission. If you do see that, please go ahead and click allow so that Teachable Machine can use your camera. All right. So,
and that's exactly what mine did, Ridhima. So you're right. I've got this pop-up box. So I just need to allow my camera and I see myself.
Perfect. Okay. So, do I look like a hibiscus to you, Michelle?
You do not look like a hibiscus.
I absolutely do not want to teach the computer that my face is a hibiscus. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my real hibiscus out and I'm going to hold it in front of my camera and probably take myself out of the screen. So I'm going to try and keep my face out of the screen. And I'm going to go ahead and click on the blue hold to record button over here to click an image or to click a picture of my flower. So I'm holding my flower in front of the camera right now, and I'm going to go ahead and click. And as I click, you see that the images are coming onto the right-hand side here. These are the examples that have already been clicked. What I'm also going to keep in mind is that I'm going to try and keep my flower on different positions in the screen, probably maybe hold it upside down, different angles, so that the computer learns what a hibiscus is, no matter how I hold it. So,
that's great. And Ridhima, I love how you also mentioned, well, you don't want your face in the screen because then you're teaching the computer about your face, but also just that privacy piece, just not having those student faces in the camera. So that's a great point. All right, I gotta take my pictures here. I'll let you go ahead and finish your hibiscus. Ridhima, Supriya, I think, you're playing along too?
Yes, I am training my Teachable to learn the circles, and I want to just point something out. Can you all see that Michelle has some writing on her background?
Oh,
So the background is also being learned by the AI. So just be mindful. The more blank the background is, the better it is. Otherwise, the machine doesn't know which is the envelope and which is the background.
that
And
makes
it's
so much
okay.
sense.
but if you have managed to click your background by mistake, don't worry. Despite my best efforts, I have a little bit of my face showing in the picture. So what I can do is, if I'm not happy with the example that I've clicked, when I hover over that image, I'm going to see a little dustbin icon. So if you want to, delete that image and perhaps replace it with a better image, you can go ahead, click the dustbin icon over here and you just get rid of that image. So I don't want my face, so I'm just gonna delete these images and perhaps click new ones that don't have my face in them. So Priya, how many examples do you think would be good? How many examples do you think I should give to my computer?
So that's a very nice question you've asked me, Ridhima. As humans, when we are trying to learn, to distinguish between a cat or a dog or another object, we just need a few examples. We are so intelligent. Even young children are so intelligent. You show them 2 or 3 pictures of a cat and they know this is a cat, even if it's a different category of a cat, right? But AI is not so intelligent. So you need to give it at least 15 to 20 examples on teachable. But in real life, the data scientists, they use thousands and thousands of images. But this is a pre-trained model. So here, about 15 to 20 should be good enough. But just remember, both the objects should have an equal number of images that you give it to learn from.
Okay, thank you. So I guess it should have an equal number so that I'm not being perhaps unfair to one object over the other, and I'm not kind of being biased towards one over the other.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, thank you for sharing.
And while you're doing this, Ridhima, we do have a couple of classes that have joined us. So we have Joseph is here, and we have some other students that haven't put their name in. But those of you that are joining us live, let us know, how many captures did you get? I have 33 for my envelope. I haven't got to my case yet, though.
Also, Sandy has asked a question that how do you delete a picture? Sandy, if you go to the images where you can see the hibiscus by Ridhima, if you hover over any one image, you'll see a tiny dustbin on the right-hand corner. Just click on it and you can delete it. Ridhima, you want to show it, please?
Yes. So where you see I'm kind of circling my mouse over an image, there's a white dustbin icon on the top left. So if I don't want that image, I can just go ahead and click on the dustbin icon and it's going to delete that image. Okay, so I'm done with my first class, my first object. So I'm going to go ahead and click the pictures for my second class now for my marigold. And I'm going to try and make sure that I have, again, an equal number of images so that I'm not being biased to the hibiscus. So I do the same thing again. I click on webcam, but under the marigold class now. So under the class 2 that you have on your screen. So okay, so I think I have about almost equal, maybe just say 2 more. Okay, so I have 19 and 18, which is approximately the same for both my classes. So I think I'm happy with that. So
and now, I do have a question, Ridhima, because I notice if you hold down to record, it just like takes a whole bunch of pictures. Is that something you recommend, or would you? Does it make more sense to just do click, click, click?
Wonderful question, Michelle. So if you were clicking maybe thousands of pictures, maybe then you'd want to hold down and record so that you can save a little bit of time. But since we're only doing a couple today, maybe like 15 or 20, I would suggest you take the effort to kind of reposition each image you're clicking and perhaps just hold down the button for just a microsecond and let it go so it clicks just perhaps 2 or 3 pictures at a time.
That makes perfect sense, because I did that and I'm realizing, I have to delete a bunch of them because they really didn't turn out. So great advice. Thank you.
Yeah, and in case you feel like you have too many and it's taking too long to delete, you can also click on the 3 dots that you see here on the top right. When you right click, it's going to give you options to delete that class. So if you think there's more examples that you don't want, rather than the ones you want, you can delete the class and perhaps just add a new class using the add a class icon at the bottom.
So easy. And I guess I also want to point out one more thing. We haven't logged into this at all. So there's no worry about student privacy or logins. This is such a cool program.
Absolutely. And the images are not going anywhere. They're just on your computer. The images are not getting sent anywhere. So you don't have to worry about that. Okay, so I have now finished giving a few examples to my computer. Now that I have given the examples, I want it to start learning from my examples, because only when it learns from my examples, it's going to be able to think and make decisions. So in order to have the learning started, I'm going to click on the blue button here that says Train Model. So go ahead and click on Train Model. And as soon as I do that, it's going to say training. I'm going to wait perhaps a couple of seconds until it trains. It's going to take a few seconds. There we go. And as soon as it's done training, I see a third area that's appeared on my screen, a preview section, and it also has two outputs or two decisions that my computer is trying to make right now. As you can see, because my background, my face is in the image right now, it's kind of confused because it's not seeing the hibiscus, it's not seeing the marigold, it's seeing me. And that's why you see these orange and pink lines kind of jumping around and dancing a little bit. But when I go ahead and test for the objects that I have actually used, and I go ahead and I hold my hibiscus, what do you see? There is no more jumping. It is pretty sure that this is a hibiscus. And as you see, the orange line has reached right up to the end, and it says 100%. So Priya, what do you think this 100% means?
I think it means that the AI thinks with 100% certainty that this is an hibiscus.
So it's how sure my computer is of the decision it's making. That makes sense. Okay, and I'm going to test with my marigold too. There we go, 100. All right, so don't worry if it's not, exactly 100. If you have, something that you're happy with, above 50, above 60, that is good enough. So once you have finished testing your objects in the preview section, so I'm quite happy with how my testing works. Michelle, how's it going for you? I can see you kind of testing your two objects. Are you happy?
Perfect. Yeah, 100%. As long as I have it in the full screen, it knows whether it's a laptop case or the envelope. Now, hey, before we go too far, I see there's also add a class. Does that mean I can program more than two objects?
Absolutely.
You can do that. The only thing that you'd have to keep in mind is after you add examples of your third class, you'd probably have to hit the train button again, the second one, the second step that we did. You'd probably have to hit that button again because it would have to relearn using the new examples in the new class that you've given it to. But absolutely, if you like, you can go ahead and do that. Okay. So I'm happy with my two classes now. I can see that my AI has learned well, it's thinking, it's making its decisions quite accurately. So once I have my AI ready, I now want to use my AI on a different website. So I want to take this learning, I want to take my AI model away from Teachable Machine and call it onto another website so that I can use it over there. So in order to do that, I need to export from Teachable Machine, and right here where it says preview, you see a blue icon that says export model. So it's going to export my model when I click on this. Because I want to take this learning away from Teachable Machine elsewhere, I'm going to go ahead and click export model now. And as soon as I do that, there is a pop-up on my screen. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to go ahead and click the blue upload my model icon. The reason I'm going to do that is because I want to upload my AI model, the learning, into a cloud so that I can then just call it and import it onto my special version of AI compatible Scratch. So I'm going to go ahead and click upload my model now. And just wait while it's saying uploading. This might take a couple of seconds, but that's absolutely normal. So don't worry if you think there's nothing happening. I know it can be a little nerve-wracking when you see no sort of thing, no round thing going round and round, but it's absolutely normal. So don't worry about it. Okay.
Ridhima, can I just add something here? The more images that you have, the longer it will take.
Absolutely. I absolutely agree. Yes. Thank you for sharing. All right. So once it's done, you see the blue button has now turned into a gray icon. And instead, I have a shareable link over here and a copy icon on the right hand side. So I want to copy this shareable link so that I can take it onto my special Scratch. So I'm going to go ahead and click copy now. And as soon as I do that, it says copied, and that's how I know it's ready to be used. Okay, Michelle, are we so good so far?
We are great so far.
All right.
Are we ready to dive into the special version of Scratch?
Absolutely. So I'm just going to
Excellent.
go
Yes.
ahead and share my screen with you if you would. There you are.
Well, this is, I'll put up the link for students, and then I think you're going to show us. So students, right now, this is where we get to go into Scratch. So this is regular Scratch, so not Scratch for CS First, and it's even a more special Scratch because we can put our artificial intelligence inside it. So you'll see a couple links on the screen. The long link is at the top, but if you try that short link, the one underneath, the cc.page/scratch-AI, that's going to get you into a special version of Scratch. Again, we don't even have to log in, and we can use this artificial intelligence. So students, take a moment, pause here, teachers, get that page loaded, and should get you to a page that looks like what we're going to show on Ridima's screen. That looks just like Scratch. It's just a tiny bit different, isn't it? Oh, and I'll unmute you, Ridima. We got you muted there. Oh, there
sorry.
you go. No worries.
All right. So I'm just going to show you why this version of Scratch is a little bit special in a couple of seconds. So once you're ready over here, what you need to do is, now that we copied our learning from Teachable Machine, we need to get it into this version of Scratch. And in order to do that, I am going to click on this blue icon on the bottom left corner of my screen. So the two blocks with a little addition sign that you see, the one on the bottom left of the screen where I'm hovering right now. If you can just go ahead and click that, you will see a couple of options. The first of which is Teachable Machine. So I can basically just click on it and add an extension to Teachable Machine. So I'm going to go ahead and click Teachable Machine now. And as soon as I do that, you're going to see that I appear right behind this little sprite. So over here, you should be able to see yourself in the screen. Again, if you're not, make sure to allow camera access. You probably get a pop-up on your screen asking for camera permission. Please make sure you click allow so that you can so that Scratch can access your camera. All right, so once we have this ready, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to start getting our Teachable Machine AI model into this Scratch. And in order to do that, you see on the left-hand side, you have all the commands that you can choose from to give your computer to run your code. So you have lots of sections like motion, look, sound. But I want to go to the Teachable Machine section right now because I need to get my AI model from Teachable Machine. So I'm going to click on the Teachable Machine section right at the bottom. And when I do that, I'm going to see that the first block under that section is Use Model. So I'm just going to click on that block and I'm going to drag that block out into the center of my page. Once I have that, I need to paste my Teachable Machine AI model link over here. So the link that you copied from Teachable Machine comes in here where it says paste URL here. So I'm going to go ahead, click here, just delete this little bit of text that says paste URL here, click delete, and I'm going to go ahead and paste my Teachable Machine link. There we go. So it should say, the link that you copied from Teachable Machine should be visible once you've pasted it here. All
That's
right.
perfect. So as long as we didn't copy any other text in between getting to the stage, it's that link that we got from over in Teachable Machine. I love that. That's fabulous. Hey, Ridhima, could you do me a favor? Over in kind of the bottom right side of your center panel there, there's a little zoom in icon. Awesome. Now we'll be able to see those blocks a little better.
Perfect. Thank you for telling me, Michelle. Okay, so now that I have my Teachable Machine ready to be imported here, what I'm going to do is I need to tell my sprite when it needs to use this model. So I just don't want it to use the model randomly, but I only wanted to use this model when I click the screen flag. So I'm going to go to the events section, the yellow events section on the left-hand side panel, and I'm going to drag out when green flag click and put it on top of the use model block so that it uses the model only when I click the green flag. Once you have done that, you need to go back to Teachable Machine. So I'm going to click on the Teachable Machine section once again. And this time, what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep hitting the green flag a couple of times because I want to test and ensure that my AI model has gotten imported into Scratch. So I'm going to click on the green flag a couple of times. And at the same time, you need to do one thing very carefully at the same time. If you see where it says Teachable Machine on the left-hand side, there was an orange exclamation that has now turned into a green tick for me. So you will know when the orange exclamation turns into a green tick, you will know that your AI model is ready to be used in Scratch. So that's your indication of your AI model is all set and ready to make its predictions in Scratch. So you can keep clicking the green flag a couple of times till the orange exclamation turns into a green tick here. So now that I know it's ready, I am going to tell it what it needs to do once it starts using my AI model. So once it starts using my AI model, I have a couple of options to choose from in the Teachable Machine blocks. I think I'm going to go ahead with the second block here, which says when model detects, because I want my sprite to do something when it detects the two objects I have picked. So when model detects, and I see hibiscus here, and that is one of the two classes that I taught my AI to recognize today. But when I click on this little drop-down arrow here, I'm also able to see the second class that I taught my AI to recognize today. So in this block, I'm just going to let it stay as is, hibiscus. And for my second class, for my marigold, for class 2 or the second object that you chose, I'm going to go ahead and take the same block and drag it out once more. The when model detects once more. And this time from the drop down, I'm going to go ahead and choose the name of my second class, my second object, which was the marigold. Okay, so I'm super excited. I just have one more block that I have to add and then I'm ready to test. So once my model detects my hibiscus or detects my marigold in the picture, how am I going to know that it's detected? I'm going to know when my sprite actually says what it has detected. So I'm going to go ahead and try and make my sprite say something when it detects hibiscus or when it detects the marigold. So if I go on to the left-hand side panel again, and I go to purple, the purple section looks, I see a block that says, say hello for 2 seconds. So I'm going to go ahead and drag that one in and put it right under my first block here and drag another one and put it under my second block here. I can see I go to start running, but I can just, stop it when I like. I do not want it to be saying hello when it detects my hibiscus and marigold. but I do want it to say the name of the flower that it's detecting. So instead of hello, I'm going to go ahead and type in hibiscus. And for marigold, I'm going to go and type in, hey, that is a marigold. Okay. And I think that's all I'm going to do for now. And I'm going to try and test it. So once I have this ready, I'm going to go ahead, click my green flag, and bring my hibiscus out. And I see my sprite says hibiscus. And it thinks it's saying it's a marigold when it sees my face, because I think despite my best efforts, I perhaps had a little bit of my background in class 2 in my marigold examples, and that's probably why it's saying marigold even when I'm not holding anything up, because it has to say something when it's seeing, my camera. But I'm also going to test with my marigold, and it still, it says it's a marigold when it sees that. And hibiscus once more. Perfect. There we go. I'm quite happy with how it's working. Michelle and Supriya, how are you guys doing?
It's so great. I know a lot of these students, whether you're watching us live or from the recording, a lot of these students have probably done CS First with us. And Scratch for CS First, they use the say blocks, they set variables, but whoa, now what we've just done is we've taught the computer something, and that kind of becomes our variable. So it's all making sense to me now. This is great.
Perfect. And I just want to show you one last thing before I have a couple of questions for our students. So if you do want to save your project, make sure to name your project on the top where it says my project. So I'm going to, just go and say flower identifier, and because that's what I want to call my project, and perhaps AI. So it's a flower identifier AI. I'm going to go on file and save to your computer. So I have my code on my computer now, and I think I am good. I do have a question for you guys though. Do you think your Scratch, regular version of Scratch, would be able to recognize your objects if you hadn't used AI? Do you think you could have done just a code to recognize objects? Would it still have worked in the same way? What do you think? Would love to hear your thoughts.
And students, this is a great time to have this conversation if you're watching us on the recording. But guess what? We do have some students live here. So those of you that are here with us right now, Damien, Sean, Joseph, Mateo, Rainan, Leah, Shams, Leanna, we see you all there. Well, we see you in that form, but you guys let us know, could you have gotten Scratch to do that without AI? Supriya, I want to know your thoughts.
So you could have coded, you could have used Scratch to recognize a hibiscus flower, but the same hibiscus flower that you coded it with. So if you change the angle slightly, you held it, a little further or closer, or, the color change, it would not recognize it. But with AI, it's able to recognize even different hibiscus flowers. So Ridhima showed her the Scratch the same hibiscus flower that she trained it with. But if she had a couple of hibiscus flowers which were smaller, larger, slightly different color, the AI would have still recognized it. So isn't that cool? You've actually taught your machine to be almost as intelligent as you.
And the possibilities really are endless, aren't they? So, okay, all we have this Sprite doing is saying, I know what that is. But students out there, I'm sure you're thinking about, oh, I could create this program where if it recognizes the hibiscus, we get fireworks. I don't know. But that's really, really cool.
So, you could also use it like a presentation slide where when you see a flower, it gives you some information about it, just and not say it's a hibiscus, but also tell you something about it and where it is found and how do you grow it. So, use your creativity. And do you know there's actually an application of this in real life? Has anybody seen Google Lens?
Right. Of course.
And
Can
what do you do when you use Google Lens? When you don't see a flower, or you don't recognize a flower that you see around you, you don't recognize a plant, or perhaps a dog breed that you see around you. If you clicked a picture using Google Lens, you would be able to know what you are seeing in front of you, what it's called, where it's found, and a whole lot of information about it. And it uses image recognition AI, just like the one that we did today.
That's fabulous. Now, I think, Supriya, did you kind of take your coding to the next level? Do we have an example of your coding? Are we ready for that yet?
Absolutely.
All right. Students, get ready for some advanced coding using that AI, the trained AI. So now we see Supriya's code. You want to tell us a bit more about this?
So, what I did is I decided that since we spoke about the self-driving car in the beginning of the lesson, I decided to change my sprite to a car instead of Pico. And all I had to do was go into the cat and choose one from here. Okay. And then what I wanted to do was show you that how my car could take different commands. So if I showed it a green, I'm going to click the green flag and show you what it does when I click the green flag. It's supposed to run. Oh, and my AI is not behaving very well, but there it goes. Can you see it going round and round? And then if I wanted to slow down, I have to replace it with my orange circle. And can you see that? It's actually slowing down. And now, what if I wanted it to stop? So I replace it with my red circle, and it's there. There you go. It stopped. But did you see a few of the glitches that happened? This is why, though we have this technology already there, we have the Tesla car, which is able to drive on its own. People realize that there are so many different kinds of objects and people and stop signs that the self-driving car might miss. So we are not really using it in the real life applications until all the glitches are ironed out. But isn't that cool that AI can do that? But can I tell you something really interesting? The same technology is also being used for autonomous vacuum cleaners. Has anybody heard of the Roomba?
Absolutely. I've got one just over in the corner.
Yeah, and that's the same technology it works with. You train it with different objects, and then the Roomba knows when to go, when to stop, when to turn around. Isn't that cool?
It really is. And I think before seeing this, and even before seeing you controlling that car, I really didn't think about like, wow, all of those possibilities and how AI is all around us. So that's absolutely fabulous. I love that. Let's see, we've got some students. We do have some students just sort of wondering like, oops, I missed a step, but teachers, just pause this video, rewind it. Those steps will be there for you. I know it might have gone a little bit fast, but Ridhima, do we have more code to share? My code, unfortunately, things started lagging, so I decided to close mine down, but I did get it to recognize. What else do we have to show these students?
Of course. So maybe I can go ahead and add a little speech extension. So what I can do is, all right, thank you for sharing. So, right where I went to add my Teachable Machine extension, I can also click that extension button again. And when I do that, I see an option that says text to speech. So I can click on that extension. And what this is going to be able to do is it's not only going to be able to, the sprite is not going to only be able to say words that I can read, but I'm also going to be able to hear what my sprite has to say. So I'm going to go ahead and drag out the block that says speak hello, but I'm going to make sure that I put this one in between the when model detects and the say block. So just make sure that you see that little gray reflection before you drop it in the right place. So I see the gray or the yellow one, and I'm going to go and drop it in right there.
Hello.
And instead of hello, I'm going to type in hibiscus. And
Hibiscus.
you see it's saying hibiscus while also
Hibiscus.
saying it. So
Hello.
with this one, I'm going to say, hey, that is a marigold. And when I click,
Hey, that is a marigold.
are you able to hear that, Michelle?
Yes, I am. And I'm fascinated.
Hibiscus. That is a marigold.
I haven't seen that feature. Can you go back again and just show how you got
Hibiscus. That is a marigold.
Absolutely. So
Hibiscus. That is a marigold.
I think it's just, it just keeps saying, and that's
Hibiscus.
probably
That is a marigold.
a little glitch that's happening. So I'm just going to go ahead and remove the blocks for
Hibiscus.
now so that
Hey,
you can actually
that is a
hear me.
marigold.
But this is also so good. All about troubleshooting, right? And realizing, oh, okay, I'm going to have to fix, whether it's fixing the AI or fixing the code. That's wonderful.
Absolutely. But I'm just going to show you where that block is again. So again, the blue extensions button on the bottom left corner where you see I'm hovering, the two blocks with the little addition sign. So I'm going to click there. And in the second row, the last option is the one that says text to speech. So it's basically going to turn any text into actual speech that you can hear. So that is the one that I selected.
Oh, I love that. So that's actually just it's a Scratch extension, not necessarily connected to AI.
I think it's okay. So Priya, please go ahead.
It is actually connected to AI. It's a pre-trained AI extension. So what that means is, today we showed you how to train the AI to recognize two objects. Whereas in the text-to-speech, someone has already trained the AI to recognize and say the words out aloud. Isn't that cool?
Again, where we didn't realize AI is all around us. So that's excellent. Wonderful. Well, we have about 10 minutes left. I know we have students trying all sorts of different things. We had Shams took photos of their pencil case and water bottle. Students, those that are out there, let us know, what did you train your AI to do? And then maybe another question is, how are you going to continue coding? What else do you want your program to do moving forward? I wonder, Supriya, do we want to take a look back at your code again and just see how students could code like your car?
Absolutely.
Let's put you back on the screen. There you go. Tell us what you've got. And again, that zoom in button might be nice and helpful. That magnifying glass. Excellent. Okay, let's see what you got there.
So what I did was, I first had an event block. When the green flag clicked, then it will use the same URL that I exported from my Teachable machine, which was trained with 3 classes. The green circle, which means go, the orange circle, which means slow down, and the red circle, which was coded to say stop. Then, in order for me to have a starting point for my car, I use a block saying go to x minus 167 minus 114. So when I click the green flag, what you'll notice is my car will go to the starting point. And then it's going. Okay, it's going too fast. And I also gave it a block saying point in direction 90 so that it's going horizontally and not going vertical. And then instead of using the blocks like Ridhima did of when model detects, what I did was I used an if then block. So if the prediction was go, if my AI saw the green circle, it would say go. It would start moving around. It would move 6 steps. I set a rotation style all around so that it would go round and not sort of, get stuck on the edge of the screen. And that's why I also used a block which said, if on edge, bounce. If my AI saw the orange circle, I used a block which said slow down. And the reason I put these blocks is so that even I, as a user, can see what the AI is looking at and predicting. So if my AI is making mistakes, this is a neat tool for me to troubleshoot my AI model. And what I actually wanted to do is just move. But this say is giving me troubleshooting tips to know what is it seeing. Is it seeing green circle? Is it seeing slow down? Or is it seeing stop? And for my last class, what I did was that when I have a red circle pop up, I wanted to stop. Does that make sense? Is everybody good with this?
Absolutely. And I think so. Students, quite likely, you can't probably keep up with that and get those blocks put in as quickly as Supriya described them. But this is where you'll be able to come back to this part in the video. You can maybe zoom in, and then maybe you can follow some of those ideas that Supriya did as well. That's how you can take your coding further. Well, with that, I think we're probably ready at the end. Students, we want to know, did you have fun doing this activity today? If you are with us live, please put an emoji in the chat. We would love to hear from you. Teachers, hopefully you've got a little bit of extra class time today. Allow those students to continue to explore, continue to build, and we can't wait to hear what kind of projects you came up with. Do you know, Ridhima and Supriya, one thing we didn't tell the students is, wait a second, we didn't log in. How can they save their work? Can I go back to your screen, Ridhima, and you show the students how they can save a copy of their file if they don't have a Scratch account?
Absolutely. So when you go to PRG AI blocks, the most important thing is to give your project a name. So I've called mine a Flower Identifier AI. And once I've decided to give it a name so that I can actually find it on my computer when I need it, I click on File over here. When I click on File, I see a couple of options. And the last one in that list says Save to your computer. And that's going to allow me to save my code on my computer. So I can just click Save to your computer and then choose wherever you want it to save on your computer. Does that help, Michelle?
That absolutely helps. And teachers, if you would like to send those files to us, we have an amazing Scratch showcase where we can publish those for your students. So teachers, you can just email us at hello@cobblestonecollective.ca, the same address that got you the information to join us here, but send those files to us and we'll put those up in our studio for everyone to see. And now, I guess as well, Ridhima, we probably want to save our training model as well. Is there some way we can save that if we wanted to?
Absolutely. So I'm just going to reshare my screen to Teachable Machine. Okay, so I am back onto my Teachable Machine screen. I see all the images and the trained version of it. What I can do is I can click on the 3 horizontal lines on the top left corner of my screen, right next to Teachable Machine. So when I click on those 3 lines, I'm going to see a couple of options. And the one that I'm going to choose today is I'm going to say I want to download this project as a file on my computer. So I'm going to choose the download project as file. Make sure you don't click open project from file because you choose that option when you want to load a project that you've already saved back onto Teachable Machine. But in order to save what you've done today, you can click download project as file. So I'm going to go ahead, and when I click that, you will be able to choose where you want to save it on your computer. So download project as a file is what you should be clicking on.
And is that a
training model?
Basically, if I just want to go back and modify it, that's why I might save it, right?
Exactly. So if you want to retrain it, if you want to make changes, you want to add a couple of examples, remove a couple of examples, add a class, remove a class, you can access the file.
Excellent. And I think, Supriya, is there one more thing in Scratch that we need to show these students?
Yes. So Michelle, what I wanted to add was that, when children make an AI model and they code it on Scratch, if they want to re-edit it or they want to re-look at it, it's important to have the TM file, the teachable machine file saved, and also the Scratch save. But if they want to share it with you to put on your website, what would be nice is if they could go on to the Scratch and actually click the green flag and start recording it. Can I share my screen and show it? Or would Ridhima, would you like to do that?
No,
Yeah,
we
great.
have you loaded right here, Supriya, if you can show us.
Perfect. So what I would do is first I will stop my code. Can you see this red record button here next to the stop?
Yes, and this is brand new. I've been using Scratch for CS First, and I don't think I've ever seen that record button, so this is exciting.
So this is a really nice tool for children to actually record their project and then share it, because the coding doesn't work without the AI. So what happens is, if today you close this file, the code would forget which training to use. So it's nice to record it and save a copy for yourself.
Wonderful. And of course, when we're recording, we want to make sure we're not on that screen. And so that students, so that you're not giving away any of your personal information. But I love that feature inside Scratch.
Yeah. So, you do it things like this. So I'll just show it to you. I'm going to click the record and I'm going to click the green flag. And it's going, and I'm hidden my face. And then I slow down. And then I show my stop. And hopefully he will listen to me. Awesome. And then I stop. And can you see what happened? The file got saved onto my computer automatically as my recording.webcam. Now that's what students you can share with Michelle, and she can put it on her website.
Oh, that's fabulous. Wow. That makes it so easy. So teachers, if your students want to record themselves, you go ahead and watch that. Make sure we're not giving away any student privacy info. And if you think it's good to send to us, you just send that over to our email. We would love to see those for sure. All right. Well, we are out of time. Supriya and Ridhima, this truly was fabulous. I learned so much, and I cannot wait to share this with more people. Thank you so much for joining us from India. What time is it there right now, Supriya?
It's 11:30 in the night.
Right. So students, teachers, just a huge thank you to Supriya and Ridhima for being here, for teaching us, for staying up late. And we sure hope to have you back again, Supriya and Ridhima. This really was absolutely fabulous. So thank you again.
Thank you so much, Michelle, for giving us this opportunity to reach out to children in Canada also. We are so excited to have every child become AI literate one step at a time.
Wonderful. I love that. Well, great. Well, we'll say goodbye to all of you students, and we hope to see you again. Bye-bye.